Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. Listen, have some fun, but don't ever do, believe, or promote anything they say. They're idiots.
Guys, hold up. You should know, this ain't for everybody. Welcome to Savagely Loud. What's happening, people? Guys, welcome back to the show for the people that understand that facts divided by feelings equals failure. I'm Cliff, I'm your host, and today I'm joined by another friend of mine, and we're going to get to him in a second, but you know the drill. If you want to help me out, help me get these words out, get these truths out, you can follow me on Instagram, @SavagelyLoud. That is where I'm most active. On that page, you're going to find two links. One of those links is to the Savagely Loud podcast page on Instagram. If you could please follow me there too, that'd be greatly appreciated, as that will inevitably be my backup page when they shut the other one down. The other link you're going to find is a simple link tree. Anywhere you want to hear my rants, see my videos, do anything like that, you can find it there. Outside of that, you can follow me Facebook, X, Rumble, and Substack now at Savagely Loud, YouTube at Savagely Loud Podcast, and you can email me in at savagelyloud@gmail.com, and I strongly suggest you do if you want to guarantee that I see your communication. I have to go through this every time in the show because I always get these communications that say, I sent you a message and you didn't see it. I literally have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages in my inboxes that I have to get through, and it's overwhelming, and it's going to be a while before I get to you. So if you want to guarantee yourself that I see your communication, send me an email at savagelyloud@gmail.com. Last but not least, don't forget to like, comment, and share the material, guys. And please, please, please rate the show and review the show. Give me a good rating. Give me a good review. It helps me get into the algorithm. It helps my guests get their content into the algorithm. We have to wake these people up, and that takes a little bit of help from you. So pretty please, with sugar on top, like the fucking shit, share the fucking shit, and rate the fucking shit. Without further ado, I'm joined by a person you might recognize from Instagram, where he's most active, it seems. I got Maverick on the line here with me. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good, bud. How are you?
I got zero complaints. Why don't you tell everybody where they can get you, where they can find you before we get started?
All right, sounds good. Yeah, you can find me a couple different places. You can, of course, find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. I'm both active on Instagram as well as TikTok. TikTok is where the following is, I guess. There's a link tree that you can actually find all my information if you want to follow me. It's Maverick Effect for the most part across the board, but friends know me as Maverick, and then that's where we're at. So yeah, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I am trying to build on X, but I really haven't delved into that too much.
I've got what's your handle at these pages?
They're mostly Maverick Effect. It's like Maverick.effect across the board for the most part. You can find me.
Yeah. When it comes to X, I feel you. Like nobody I know can get any fucking traction on X. I've got a couple of friends of mine that I got a couple of thousand followers, but nobody else I've talked to, even big fucking names, can't get any fucking traction on X. I've been on X just as long as I've been on fucking or just as long as I've got the new Savagely Loud shit on Facebook, which was January. And Facebook is now approaching 130,000 followers, and X is 139 followers. 139. That's it. Like, and I've been bouncing up and down to 141, back to 98 for God knows how long. I don't know what it takes to get traction on X, but good for everybody that does. But on the other hand, X is like the worst cesspool of just shit-talking hatred that you can find on the internet. So I don't know if it's that bad of a thing.
Right. No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, a lot of what I see is everything's a cesspool throughout all social media. It's like the great divide straight down the middle. We see it every day.
That's a fact. That is a fact. And speaking of cesspool, let's dive into the cesspool. What is this argument that I'm seeing with you and this fucking... I saw a video pop up earlier, and it was some fucking atrociously disgusting naked white man laying in a bed talking shit about you. What is happening with this?
So, of course, like we all know on social media, they give actually, you know what? Here, liberals have a phone. Go out there and get yourself a profile and try to be loud and chirp, right? So I'm going through, because I've actually not posted that much, because I'm at a point where I'm like, you know what? Pump the brakes. Work's busy as fuck sometimes, because as most people don't understand, we do have real lives outside of these characters we play.
Right.
Shit, Jesus Christ. I swear to Christ, it's crazy. But this guy, yeah, and let me frame it this way. I don't typically like to do those videos. However, this guy, it's because I moved down here, and I can tell you a lot of the people, and I moved from Northern Illinois to Tennessee because I had to get out. I had to get out of the blue fucking shit show that's up there. I vote red no matter what, and I'm like, I need to get these blueies out. It means shit. So I'm like, you know what? Where am I going to go? I'm just going to go to a place where, you know, at least when I vote red, it's going to mean something. So, but I got this guy who's from the Appalachians. He's an Appalachian liberal. Well, I told my neighbor, who's an actual born and bred Tennessean. He goes, oh, that's unfortunate. Bless his heart. They actually do say that.
Yes, yes, they do.
He doesn't know better. So my thing is before I decide to step out onto the field of battle, as I like to call it, I will go through somebody's fucking shit and go, is it worth my time? And what can I do? Because I'll do it with a smile on my face, because I don't give a shit. I do it because I think it's funny, and I already know what's going to happen. You're going to get triggered, and you're going to make 3 or 4 videos.
Yeah.
Like fucking clockwork. This fucking guy's like all over the place. Oh, and I'm like, well, at least you put clothes on in this video, because I'd mentioned that you were naked, you weirdo.
That's what took me out. Like, dude, he's laying in the most. Okay, so like as soon as I saw him, I immediately pictured Deuce Bigalow with that fat black dude dressed up as a woman laying on a bed. Did you say steak? Like, that's exactly what I thought when I saw that fucking beached whale laying in his fucking with the phone up. You know. Yeah, but I'm the same way. Like, I really don't. I don't tee off with people. Like, I don't get into these internet feuds. Like, everybody's familiar with my shit, and everybody has apparently seen a lot of other people remixing my shit and talking their shit, doing their whatever spiel, and they'll send it to me, and I'm like, cool, bro, more views, more followers, all right, more advertising, go you. And they get so fucking mad. They're like, how can you not get mad? I'm like, dude, I put my shit out knowing people are gonna hate it. Why am I gonna get mad when they actually do hate it? Plus, I'm on a mission. I'm here to start the conversation. And I like what you said earlier, just a couple seconds ago, when you was like, these characters that we play, right? So now all of us that are online and we have some sort of following, it is to an extent a character, because we have to embellish, and the real ones show through. It's who we are. I am who I am at all times. But when you're online and you're trying to accomplish something, you've got to embellish. You've got to be a little bit more shocking, a little bit louder, a little bit more motivated, amplified, you know, kind of things like this. So there is a certain washing of a character, and people got to understand that. And I use that character, as I'm sure you do. I use that character to start the conversation. Like, I put out some shocking, horrendous shit sometimes that pisses people off, and then the conversation starts, because I truly believe there's only 2 ways to get the people to access the truth. There's only 2 ways to get the truth out of people. That's get them drunk or get them pissed. I can't get them drunk on the internet, but I can fucking piss them off. And when I piss them off good enough, they message me or they email me, and bam, the conversation starts. I get through all, and they always start the same. You know, no, I should say 98% of them start the same. Oh, you fucking this, you fucking that, you piece of this and piece of that. Dude, if you're on a mission, you just get through all that. Like, I understand you're mad. This is why I put my shit out, because I wanted this interaction. So you calmly get through that, and then you start the conversation. Now, like you also said, there has been a few motherfuckers on the internet that it's just something about, like, I saw their name or I saw their face or I saw their comment, and it was just like something clicked in my brain. It's like, today's the day, I'm gonna shut you down. You know, typically don't do it, but sometimes you got to. So tell me what got you started, because I see your videos. What got you started, like, really hard into the red? You know, I mean, especially being from Illinois. I'm from Illinois, Northern Illinois specifically. I'm actually about 40 minutes north of where you were. So this is an incredibly blue toilet that Illinois is. What got you started going so red?
I would have to say I've always been I've been conservative and Republican since I'd say 2001, man. I mean, I started getting into it as a teenager a little bit, but who cared? I was a kid back then. Now I get in now as I was getting older, I'm like, there's some things that are happening. One of them was 9/11. It's a big part of everybody's life that was alive back then that's old enough to understand.
Yep.
Most of these fucking little pussy ass liberal kiddies now, the ones that are going to be ready to vote in the next garbage, I have a feeling, into the next couple of elections, have no idea. I don't think they understand patriotism. I don't think they understand what it was like back then. Here's the thing, you didn't really talk about politics. You know what you argued about? Fucking sports, if you were into sports. Or if you were in a fucking the difference between here's a good one for you. Is Alkaline Trio a good band?
Right. No, they're not.
So, I mean, I was a fan at one point of them because I worked at a fucking bar down in fucking Dundee, and the fucking one guy that I knew, he loved fucking Alkaline Trio. And I was like, oh, this is all right. This is pretty good music. It's fun to jam to, whatever.
That's where I would fall. That's where I would fall on that.
It's like, that's what you used to talk about. And then as we moved further through the 2010s or whatever the fuck they call it now, it just started polarizing. And then once Trump went into office, that's when it was just like, poof. I'll go back a little further. Maybe when Barack Obama said Trayvon Martin is like my son.
Yeah, God. It's nothing to brag about.
but I mean, you could see it because it was one of those things to where you started seeing people move apart. And then all of a sudden people started getting political active. And then this fucking shit, fucking forget about it at that point. It just got worse.
Yeah. Like, I'm 43, so I was born in 82. I don't know how old you are, but
47.
Oh, really? You don't look a day over 40. You look great.
Here, dude. I gotta shave this shit, bro.
There it is. Yeah, why do you think I'm fucking bald? It all started, my mohawk went to a no-hawk in fucking high school, man. Yeah, that's why I'm clean shaven, is because it don't fucking come in up here, But so coming up through the 90s now, things I'm open about is I was a fucking skinhead in the 90s. Like, my whole early childhood, teen years, and early adulthood, I spent hating people. And so I have this blessing of seeing it from a different view that most people didn't get to see it from. And so, coming from my view, when we were coming through the 90s, race relations were really working out. Like, they were really becoming something fucking amazing. And that is where I feel like, the end of the 90s, the early 2000s is where you could almost feel the tension be installed into the people of this country. Mind you, that's coming from a guy that inserted tension everywhere. Like, I just walked into a room and people shit their fucking pants. But that seems to be where the tension really started being inserted, because it feels like when I look back in the 90s, the race relations were too good for the power, the powerful or the elite to maintain the power. Had race relations continued on that trajectory it was on in the 90s, these motherfuckers wouldn't have power right now, because every fucking white man and black man would be locked in arms heading to the Capitol. But they have to separate us. And then, we had Obama. That, for me, was the big steel door dropping. You could just see people as soon as he announced his candidacy, you could just see everybody just, boom, we are on fully different sides. Yes, there were a lot of people that said, I don't want to vote for him because he's black and he's going to want to give reparations. I fell partly into that category and I was right, because that's the first thing he started talking about is reparations. He never did it, but that's the first thing he talked about. But my thing was, the biggest, scariest thing about Obama for me wasn't even him. It was the way people blindly bowed to him. I had never seen anything like that in my life, where just masses and masses and masses of people just became dumbfounded and whatever you say. They would, whatever he said, that was now etched in concrete, and then it got to the point where he said he made that third term comment like, I'd be more than happy to do a third term if I could just sit in a basement and run my fucking shit through a meat suit like Joe Biden. Everybody, and that's when it got really scary for me, because everybody was like, I think I could do that. Wait, whoa, hold, what? No, we're not going to change the laws to make this guy the dictator forever, make this guy the king forever. And that is really where this whole no kings movement makes me just giggle. Like, you guys are in the streets yammering about no kings, but you wanted to make Obama a king. Like, that's fucked up. You know what I mean?
Well, I get it. One of the things I could tell you, say the 90s, we could take a little throwback. I could take you down a little bit of Jimmy Maverick, what he was as Maverick. Even before that, I was actually a goth kid.
Did you wear fishnets?
I did.
Did you really? Holy
But here's what's really crazy here. So check this out. All right. So a lot of these goth kids now have no idea what the actual thought process was back then. We were anti-government.
Yeah.
These goth kids are all about being in the government. We were anti-government. We were anti-government. We were anti-establishment. We were anti-everything. We wanted nothing to do with big government. We wanted less or no government. That's the thing, is that's that thought process I used to have back then. So it was like an amalgamation of that thought process I had as a goth kid. And then as I actually got a job and understood what real life was about, because of course I'm not just a teenage kid in school going, oh, I can pretend to be this character.
Right.
Now I have to get a job. I have to pay taxes. I have to understand what real life is about. So that's when I eventually changed. And there's a whole religious background thing behind it and how I was raised. I was born and raised Lutheran, baptized, confirmed, all that other stuff. Got into some, I like to call it the witchy woo shit. And then just decided it wasn't for me. And then I eventually came back to, my faith and whatnot. And that's something that drives me even today. But I mean, that's the thing is the goth kids then versus now, I'm like, you're not fucking goth. You're a fucking pussy beta. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Because at least, we hung out with the punk kids and all that other stuff. We hung out with the punks. We hung out with some people that were skinheads. We hung out with that crowd. That's why I'm saying these kids now versus us back then, we understood a lot more than what they understand, because we weren't handed a tablet and said, here, go learn. Fuck off. And I mean, looking at it now, just to kind of touch on what you're saying about, rolling through that whole Obama, when we see the divide, it got worse once Trump stepped on stage. That's when it got super worse. I mean, it's like me, when I voted against Obama because that's what was instilled in my brain too, because my grandmother, she was a conservative. So that's just what was instilled in my head. Vote red. Right. R down ticket. That's just my thought process. So it didn't matter what Obama's message was. And then as I saw the things he was doing and how he was portraying himself and what he was doing for one side, I was like, fuck this guy. He doesn't care. He wants to divide. I called him the great divider, to be honest with you. That was just my own thought process.
Oh, he absolutely is. To this day, he is.
Oh, he still absolutely does it. I mean, some of the things that I saw he was doing is like when Trump stepped on the scene. I'm going to tell you what, when I worked in telecommunications, I won't say what company, but it was a mixed bag of people. And I looked at him one day, it was like 2012. I said, what would be really cool? It'd be really cool if Donald Trump went for president. They're like, no way. He's on TV. I said, but he's a businessman and he would run this country like a business. I feel this is in 2012. Shit you not. Right. But I'm like, and then when he ran, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? What I said like a couple years ago, he's fucking doing what the fuck? Where are we at? It's like the fucking upside down or fucking, it's fucking a different universe.
Yeah, it comes back to that mentality because the goth mentality, the punk mentality. I was a skinhead and a punk, but that was the difference between then and now. Like I said, I was a skinhead, but I was welcome in all of the circles except the black circles. Obviously, I didn't want to be there, but the goth circles totally welcome. Punks and skins, we were arm in arm. Punks disagreed with the racism part, but everything else was anti-establishment. Let's fucking do this. You and me. We may not fucking agree on everything, but we agree on what's necessary to make this happen. Now, the kids nowadays, it means just bowing to the government. Goth means bowing to the government. It's taken this whole new persona on, but the difference is that there was a wedge between every single category of people put in now. So punks and goths don't hang out. Punks and the metalheads don't hang out. The bangers and they don't hang out. Skins don't hang out with nobody. Like, I don't even know if fucking skins exist anymore, to be honest with you, outside of Europe, But right. But yeah, it's this modern mentality where it's like you have to agree on every single fucking bullet point in my book or you're the enemy. And we see that very heavily. Well, we have seen that very heavily in the past, I would say, especially 10 years in the Democrat Party, the leftists, the liberals, that all encompassing left side of the fucking the spectrum. But now the disturbing thing is I'm starting to see it on the right. And that pushes me more into the middle than I was, like we've talked before. And I always say, I'm a middle of the road dude. I'm not right. I'm not left. I'm left on some shit. Like, I'm when it comes to social stuff, totally fucking liberal. I don't care who you want to fuck. I don't care what you want to be called. I'm not going to call you that if you're asking me to fucking partake in your delusion. It's not going to happen, but I don't care that you want that. I don't care that you live your life that way. If you want to fucking dress up in a furry costume and go gallivant down fucking Las Vegas Boulevard, then that's fine. You do you. Don't bring it to my children. Don't bring it to my schools. Don't get your fucking cock out and wave it around all over the fucking place in public. It seems common sense to me. But now the right is kind of, where so many people felt a sense of home. I'm seeing a lot more people become politically homeless because the right is now becoming just as bad as the fucking left, if not already has become as bad as the left. So now we're seeing, we used to be able to have any conversation we wanted amongst guys on the right. The left was always a little bit wishy-washy, but unless you're talking about old school Democrats, the old Democrats like my parents, your parents, our grandparents, those old school Democrats, great people. You can have conversations with them all day long. They would respect your opinion. They would respect your position. They didn't have to agree with it, but you could then, after this big ass argument, you could go get dinner. Now they want to see you fucking hanging. Like, if you disagree with anybody, they want to see those feet swinging from a tree branch. And it's not the way that this country, or really this world, I think, is ever going to prosper. It's just never going to work out this way.
That's a good lead in. And I'll tell you why it's such a good lead in with where you're going with that part of the conversation. I myself, as conservative as I am and will be, especially on TikTok, because I do the lives and stuff like that, I used to try to bring liberals to the table, especially disaffected liberals or your classic liberals, the ones that just don't give a shit, that aren't so far to the left that they're like Antifa and that progressive thought process of, well, you're a Nazi because you don't agree with me. I used to try to bring those people to the table because I wanted to talk to them, because I wanted to understand why they thought the way they did. Here's what I'm going to tell you that changed for me. Once they got Kirk and they celebrated that shit, I'm like, you know what? I'm done. And here's the other problem. What's happening here? And I'm sure, you're not a MAGA guy. I'm not a MAGA guy. Everybody's like, well, you're MAGA. I said, no. I said, here's what MAGA is. It's an acronym that's been used by Ronald Reagan, or that was first conceptualized by Ronald Reagan. Bill Clinton used it, and then Donald Trump used it and turned it into a fucking tagline.
Yeah, he turned it into a brand.
And then where it took off is because people don't want to type in we have these hashtags back in the days, we'll say 2016. Nobody wants to fucking type out "Make America Great Again" with a hashtag. everybody's shortening shit like LOL and all that other stuff. So you have MAGA. Here's where it gets really messed up. And when I ask these liberals that are so far that want to just argue with me on the internet, I go, when did you really start using the terminology MAGA people? And what I do is I do it every single time I do a live. I have a fucking video queued up from fucking YouTube. That's Joe Biden when he did his what do you call it? I like to call it his Emperor Palpatine fucking speech, if you remember that fucking shit. The fucking red lights and the fucking military in the back. And it's just like Donald Trump and his MAGA Republicans. I'll play that clip. They shut the fuck up really quick because they know. Well, I started using it here. No, you started using it when fucking in 2000, I think I want to say, actually it was 2001 when they did that speech. I said, that's when you started using it because here's what happened. And this is what kills me. And this is why I call it a classic conservative Republican, a rhino, if you will. And the rhino's not even, that doesn't even fit me. It's a conservative and a Republican.
Right.
These people that are on the right are running out of a, what do you call it? A fucking the final boss. That's what they're running out of. Woke is dead.
Yeah.
I don't care what most people said, but woke is going out. Look what's happening with Disney. Look what's happening with all these other. They put garbage out. Like, okay, so we'll go this way. I play fucking video games. I played The Witcher on my fucking Xbox. I love the story. I watched how Henry Cavill did Geralt of Rivia. Fucking amazing. He put his heart and soul into that. But because you have woke fucking ideology, and I hate to say it, and I don't mean to, no, fuck this. I'm going to say what fucking offends somebody because that's probably part of my problem is I don't fucking offend people enough. You have these fucking liberal fucking women that want to put their little DEI bullshit policies into place and fucking push a message out. You just ruined a goddamn show that could have been amazing because you had to put your ideology in that shit.
Yeah.
But again, where I'm going with this is, MAGA adopted this name, MAGA. And everybody's like, MAGA. Shut the fuck up. Who cares? I said, this is where I fit in the spectrum, if you will. They adopted it, and all the people that were so willing to actually come to the right, that's what we wanted. I think Charlie was holding it together. I really do in my thought process. There may be things you might not agree with on Charlie Kirk on his stances on things, but people were willing to come to the table and talk to you. And also people that were disaffected liberals that were in the Senate were willing to come over and talk because they're like, that makes sense. Let's have that conversation. All of a sudden, now you have it to where woke's dying. You have all this fucking stupid infighting. It's basically dismantling all the hard work that happened over the last 4 years with Joe Biden. And the Republicans aren't doing anything. Republicans, honestly, like, let's say I would say there's probably 50% of the MAGA people, or even maybe 50% of the conservative side that aren't doing shit.
Oh, yeah.
And what I mean by that is this. Okay, you have all these Antifa fucks out in fucking Portland. You have them up in Dearborn, Michigan. And this is where I like to use the word Civil War. I'm a dick like that. I like to bring these types of things up. I mean, do I want to see something like that? Absolutely not. Because honestly, I never served in the military because everybody's like, Maverick, were you a veteran? No, I had, what do you call it? It's genetic hip dysplasia. So the military wouldn't take me because they were more picky back in the 90s.
Right.
You could score well on the ASVAB, but if you had any kind of deformity, which hip dysplasia is because of how you walk and what it does when you're marching, plus it with what I had to wear when I was a child, it jacked my back. So they're like, we can't take you because you're malformed. I'm like, well, look like it's a civilian life for me. Great. But anyways, I digress. I don't even remember where I was going. I have ADD sometimes. So sometimes I go like all the way out here.
I got it all the time. Don't worry about
it. So I see these ideologies happening with MAGA, and it's one of these things to where if they were about something, honestly, we'd have people out there just like Antifa marching in the streets. What would people do if that happened? I mean, we have what happened at J6. What if that happened at these other places? How would that look? I mean, a lot of people won't talk about this because they're talking about what they see on the newest spin on Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, and all that other bullshit. What keeps me up at night is what happens if the true split happens? Because I mean, if you look at it from this aspect, and I've talked about this before, we are in what I like to call, and I think there's a couple other people too. I listen to Tim Pool. Some people don't agree with him. I like Tim Pool. He's actually a Chicago guy. He was from Chicago. He moved out to New York, and I mean, he's a disaffected liberal too. Like when he was like some of his earlier works in 2017 and 18 weren't what it is today, because he's been pushed this far by the left side because they went too far left. Now we have it to where the right's going either too far right or they want to bicker and fight and all this other crazy stuff and follow the bullshit that's out there. Like, let's listen to the conspiracy theories. I'm sure, yes, we could talk about it. That'd be interesting. But it's like my things that keep me up at night is what's going to happen because we're we're already fighting online.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's right there. There's a ideology split right there online. You see it in our news media. You see it to where we have where there are people that are trying to do like, patriot supply or patriot this, patriot that, to where it's like you have your normal products and then you have people on the right that are going to buy from this. So you have that. You have music that's that way now too. So I see all these things happening. Not to mention, like I was telling you today, there is so much fucking shit going on in this world. We're not even paying attention to that shit. Look at what's happening in the UK. Mm-hmm. Look what's happening in Iran. They're moving their capital city because, they just got their fucking shit pushed in by some bombs. I mean, they've been talking about it since 2005. Death to America. Well, go fuck yourself. Have a nice time. Have a nice time coming through some of the areas you need to. But again, it's, there's a lot of crazy shit happening. And the way I look at things too is when it comes to us here, I'm America first. That's one thing I can tell you. Stop sending our fucking money to other countries. Let them fucking figure it out. Let them fight it out. If the chips fall where they fall, they do. We have too many homeless veterans here that need our help. We have too many people that need that actual help outside of the motherfucking bitches that are crying about not having their EBT and shit. Fuck out of here with that shit. So, but again, you get me on something. I could fucking go on tangents for days, brother.
Well, let's swing this back to Charlie really quick because he was an incredibly pivotal person in the role of societal interaction today, and I'm not going to say that I know everything about him. I really liked Charlie Kirk. I liked what he stood for. I liked the fact that he was willing to have the conversation. Yes. And not many are. And he's partly inspiration for why I do what I do. Like I've always, been on this seeking mission of wisdom because of my history and these lives that I've had to live that are now a blessing, but were a curse and a nightmare when I was living them. But it's the wisdom and the conversation that got me through all of that shit to get me into another place. So when I look at Charlie Kirk, I saw that, that desire to bring together people, to educate people. And I think it was the antithesis of what the elite power structure actually wanted. I think the elite power structure wants us fighting in the streets. That's why everything has to be a rally. Everything has to be a march when everything could be a conversation. Like, what's it going to look like when everybody's in the streets marching for their own cause? I mean, we're going to have 350 million people in the streets all barking about something different. It's going to be like 1,000 Venn diagrams where the circles overlap into this, and then the circles overlap and the circles overlap. And then everybody's just going to end up confused, and, no good is going to come out of it. But when, like you touched on, when the celebration of his death, okay, now I am one of those people that and a lot of people don't like it, but I'm one of those people that I will, like I'm going to step into this pair of shoes over here and I'm going to look at it this way. And then I'm going to step into this pair of shoes over here and look at it this way. When I saw people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, it didn't bother me that it was Charlie Kirk. it bothered me that you're celebrating death like life has no value. That was the really hard part for me to swallow with the whole thing. But then again, like if you step into the left, like there are people out there that do believe, and I believe to an extent, we are in a war. We've been in World War III. World War III has not looked like World War II. World War III has been an information war, a propaganda war. It's been an ideological war. It's been a war of separation and dividing the populace so that you can conquer them. And when we look over the national landscape, we see primarily the dismantling of the middle class, because the middle class is the ones that would have that conversation. The middle class is the ones that would reach out and be like, I know you fucking disagree with me, but if you can just put that anger away for just 5 minutes, I think I could change your opinion on this. Let's just have a conversation. And that's why they're dismantling the middle class, because people like me, most people don't understand. I do a lot of race-based content. Because the race and culture war here in America has come to a boiling point where if nobody starts to talk about this shit in the realest ways, it's going to bubble over, and it's going to be a fucking problem for literally everyone. Every white man in the city is going to die, and every black man in the country is going to die, and we don't need that. But again, it goes back to you got to piss people off to get them talking. So I put that shit out and I get the conversation started. And in those conversations, you really start learning that it's going to take a lot of work to cut through the propaganda. It's going to take a lot of work to cut through the programming, because I think that's where we've reached, a point we've reached in society is we're operating solely based on our programming. And we don't understand that it really is just our programming. And I get like a lot of things like people will say it's like systematic oppression of whatever group or whatever class, whatever ever. And I'm actually currently in a conversation with a black man in my DMs, and he came at it. He came at me. He was none too happy, but I did my thing, and I was like, all right, I get all that. I'm cool with that. I don't mind you calling me names. I understand you're mad. Let's have a conversation. And we're at a point now where we're starting to really converse deeply about race relations and the problems within each of our cultures. And he said something about it's the systematic oppression of our people throughout the ages, that has led us here. And I staunchly disagree with using that as just carte blanche to act however you want. And this I apply to everyone. I don't give a fuck if you're black, you're white, you're brown, you're yellow, you're male, you're female, you're fucking trans, you're non-binary. It doesn't matter. Everybody seems to be using this now, because if you look, whatever you look for, you will find. If you're an Asian and you look for some sort of shit in the U.S. history that was anti-you, you're going to find it. White people, same shit. Black people, same shit. Everybody, same shit. If you're going to look you're going to find what you look for, but nobody looks for information that can bring us together. They only look for the information that can bolster their argument to make the hate that they feel in their heart justifiable. That makes sense to you?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. No, I get that. And that I can agree with. Like the whole situation of I'm oppressed, bro. If you're oppressed, then I'm oppressed, because I'm going to tell you what, growing up the way I did, I had nothing handed to me. I had to work my ass off for it. I'm a kid at 14 with a paper route, living in Freeport, Illinois, with his single mom that doesn't have a dad around, not getting any child support.
Right.
Having to learn to raise my two younger brothers. I hear this whole, oh, I'm oppressed and I'm I white privilege my ass.
Right.
Shit. If I had that, then I would have been living in the house that I'm living in right now, that I've fucking busted my bones for. Work my hands to the fucking grind, trying to do all this shit. I mean, that's the thing is, and I get that 100%. I mean, You see this all over the place, and it drives me absolutely crazy. But I'm like, you know what? That's where I kind of take a couple steps back and I just go, you know what? If you feel that way, that's great. You know what? Then get out of that. Make a choice.
Right.
Do something about it. So to give you an example, I was like, you know what? I can't get a house here in Illinois because prices are too high. I met my significant other on TikTok of all places. We decide she's from Colorado.
Oh shit.
So she's from Colorado. I'm from Illinois. We're both conservatives. I'm like, where should we go? So we started looking around Tennessee, and we went to, we were both creators to where we did the fun, happy content, if you remember back in the days.
Yeah.
So we both did that for a while, and then, we realized we're both conservatives, and I decided that I have, at that time it was only 30,000 on TikTok, and I'm like, you know what? I have almost a full stadium of people. I want to take advantage of this. How much of that's actually legitimate? Because as we know that there's these fun bot farms and shit like that. That's
right.
another show I'm sure you could get into. But it's still a stadium of people that I can get that captive audience to be able to talk to about a message I feel. And where it's conservative, I still, like you, wanted to bring people to the table to talk to people about it because I see where this country's going. It's not a good fucking place, I can tell you that. No. Oh, by the way, ADD moment. I see you got a Robin Hood back there. I also get into archery too. I had one, but I pulled it apart because I'm cheap like that. I'm like, well, this arrow's still good. Can I still use it? And I pulled it apart. So I noticed that. I'm like, oh, he's got a Robin Hood back there. Look at that.
Yeah, that's that was my first one. I had to hang that one up. So
I didn't keep mine. I kept the arrow, but I have a picture of it. It was two they're Black Eagle arrows, but it's so strange to me when I hear people talk about, and when you're white, people are like, well, my thought process is, and this is a big assumption, is that other people of other races think that this can't happen to white people. Sure as the fuck can, because trust me, I'm living fucking proof of it, especially with all the bullshit. And then then my grandmother raised me from 15 all the way through high school. So I mean, that's another conversation for another day. But I mean, again, if I lived the life, I'm living the American dream now, it's because I worked my ass off for it.
Right.
And I didn't have it fucking handed to me. And then again, with Charlie Kirk, you're absolutely right. Did he want to bring people to the table? Absolutely. That's what I admired about him when I would watch him, because he would calmly have a conversation with people and they would call him things. And then he would say, you know what? You have a good day. Have a blessed day. And you're absolutely right. It wasn't because Charlie Kirk was on my side, quote unquote.
Right.
It's the fact that people were celebrating it. Let's go a step further. The attempt on Trump. People were celebrating an attempt and are still wanting this to happen.
Right.
And they're even sitting there saying, because you're a Nazi, I'm going to punch you in the face. And you know what? Another one too is you have these celebs that are going on these podcasts asking for death of people. And it's coming from the left. I don't hear anybody on the right, and like when Biden got cancer, I'm sorry that happened. Nobody made fun of him for it. He got what he wanted. No conservative that I know of, at least I know of, was saying that. But you have it to where it was nothing but wall to wall to wall, especially on TikTok. If you look at that, it was wall to wall to wall to wall. And it's like, what is wrong with you people? You're celebrating death. That's why they're a death cult, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I think everybody's come to a point now where there's so few reasonable minds out there now, and it's per the plan. They've done this intentionally, and the teachers were at the forefront of it. But there's very few people out there that are willing to have a conversation. And I'll tell you this, for everybody out there. You can't fight hate with hate. It doesn't work. I hate it, and I hate it worse than anybody out there. And I've said this time and again. Everybody out here that's like fuck the blacks and fuck the Jews and fuck the Muslims and fuck the this and fuck the that. You guys don't actually know what real hate is. Like, I woke up every single day with the sole purpose of hating people and figuring out how to wipe them off of the fucking planet. That's a whole new level of hate that we're kind of heading to, And I think that's disgusting. Like I think it's gross. But when I got into my position or my period of transition of out of skinhead, and because I had to unlearn everything I had learned and taught myself and relearn all this new shit. And the only thing that made that possible was people giving a fuck about me, even though I was something they didn't like. The only thing that stopped the hate in my heart was the love in other people's hearts, the acceptance in other people's hearts. And we've gotten to the point now where every single person out here believes that they themselves, or people that agree with every bullet point they have, are the only ones deserving of love, admiration, acceptance, respect, anything like that. Everybody else has got to die. And the funny thing about this celebration of death, celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, celebrating Donald Trump's death, you ask them, if your mom got shot at a mall and I happened to be standing there and started cheering, how would you feel about that? Well, my mom wouldn't deserve it. So what makes you believe that other people do? You can't celebrate death if you're not going to celebrate your own. You know what I mean? The death of other people is not something to celebrate unless it's a real fucking piece of shit. Somebody that's hurting kids, beating women, raping people, and all this other. That's one thing. I'll celebrate those deaths all day long. But anybody that I don't give a fuck if they're on the left. If you're as extreme left as you can get, let's just say Dylan Mulvaney, that fucking train wreck disaster of a fucking human being. If he offered to have a conversation with me, I would absolutely have the conversation, and I would go into it without a bias. I would go in there completely open-minded, willing to hear what he had to say, not going to call you all your pronouns and shit, but we're going to have to play this 50-50, 50% my rules, 50% yours, but I would have the conversation. Most people I know would rather just punch him in the face than talk to him. And that's a huge problem, especially considering that everywhere you look, I don't give a fuck if you look at the extreme left or the moderate left or the moderate right or the extreme right. Everybody's like, America, America, America. Y'all motherfuckers forgot what America is. Y'all motherfuckers forgot that in order to make America the place that we want it to be, I will forego the Make America Great Again because that's got such connotations to it. If you wanted to make this place the place we want it to be, everybody has to lose so that everybody can win. Nobody's willing to compromise anymore. How do you compromise? How do you reach a point of compromise if you won't even have a conversation? And if you won't even have a conversation, how do you expect this place to become the place that we've all dreamed of leaving for our children or our children's children? Like, it can't happen. You know what I mean?
Oh, I get it. And I think, and again, this goes back to what I used to think versus how I think now. And this is only, let's see, was that October? Or was that was October when they got Charlie? That was in October, wasn't it? Or was that September? September? I'd have to look it up.
September. Yeah.
Let's go about it this way. I used to have more hope than I have now. I have shreds of hope. Right. They'll be like, I had a live where I had this great black woman. She's a Democrat. She came in and had a conversation. And the funniest thing she said is we're talking about Mondani. She's like, I don't like that motherfucker. And I'm like, I said, ma'am, you just made my night. Just the way she said it, because it was genuine. And it was somebody who was willing to come to the table and have that conversation. I said, you made this little shred that I have be like that a little bit more.
Yeah. Because
here's the thing. I am not opposed to speaking with people on the left, but here's my problem. Again, it's ever since it was a pivotal moment. I feel you're absolutely right in the whole thing with Charlie Kirk. It was a pivotal moment in society because now society got cut straight down the middle because it has, and again, I understand the whole want to have people come to the table. I get it 100%. But now you have people like me who were willing before, now are just like, you know what? Fuck you straight in your fucking face, because I'm going to tell you this now. The way you're acting now, eventually what's going to happen is you're going to poke that bear too much, and that bear is going to fucking rip your head off because it's coming.
I'd like to think so.
I hate to say that, and I don't want to see that, but I'm seeing every single day. Like I watched Cam Higbee, this little whatever the fuck it is, because it had a ponytail, it spoke like a guy. Do you boo-boo on however what you want to identify as, whatever. I don't give a fuck. But when you're telling somebody, get the fuck out of here, you Nazi, and you have a guy that's wearing a blue hat that just says America First on it, it's a blue hat, and he's like, I just want to talk to you. I just want to have that conversation with you. And this person the whole time's yelling, you fucking Nazi, you're not fucking wanted here. Why? Because that person's a Nazi because you deem it so, because you've been brainwashed by your Antifa fucking people. Like when I tell you, dude, Antifa is one group that I'm just like, I feel it's a problem in our society, especially in this culture war, because they've been around for quite some time. And a lot of people, I feel there's people that actually are free thinkers, or people who are that think outside of the box of just that one media moment, as I like to call it. Right. When we turn on our YouTube, or we turn on our TV, and there's whatever flavor you decide to go with that day, they don't want to look at all the different things outside of it. So you have this person that basically is yelling, and they're probably on the left, because they had the little patch Palestine flag on their fucking on their hat. They're fucking waving the Palestinian flag, or now it's a Somali flag. That's another thing they're doing.
That's fucking wild.
If it isn't a progressive flag, it's a fucking Somali flag, it's a Palestinian flag, a Mexican flag, or fucking a progressive flag, or fucking a Ukrainian flag. Yeah. It's whatever fucking flavor you want this month. But this guy is genuine, and I don't want to say you saw fear in his eyes, but you can see the way this guy is looking, because nobody had his back. Like, he had a whole bunch of reporters that were filming, but this is a guy probably that might be a moderate, independent, or middle of the road guy that just wants to come to the table. And you have this far left fucking bullshit where everything's a Nazi. I'm going to punch a Nazi. I'm going to kill a Nazi. All cops are bad and all that other crazy shit. It's wild to me when I see this, because you and I can have this conversation openly about this, but I can guarantee you, if it was somebody who was on the super far left, I might even be considered far right, because I believe in I believe in the Constitution. I believe in the First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment. I plead the Fifth. All these things. I believe in America. I believe the country that we used to have isn't what I grew up loving so much. It's fractured so bad because as you're absolutely right. Is it planned? I mean, we could talk about the World Economic Forum. If you ever have me back on, we could talk about
you'll be back on.
World Economic Forum, talking about you will own nothing and be happy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you went into that. I mean, I could go as far as into that, into the globalist fucking program, because it's been something they've been planning for a long time. Go back to the fucking Rockefellers. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised if fucking Trump's not even in that shit. He probably is, even though I voted
he's going to the fucking he's going to the fucking meeting. He's going to the World Economic Forum.
The Davos meeting?
Yep, he's going to the Davos meeting. The first term he refused. I want no part of that shit. But this fucking time, he's going, and a lot of the things he's doing, people can fucking hate it or not, hate it or love it, but it seems like he's in on it. It seems like everything he's doing is part of the fucking plan. It's just part of the fucking thing. Like, why are you arguing to import all these fucking people to replace Americans?
Yes.
Americans don't have the talent. How the fuck do you know? In America, you have to have 5 years of experience just to get the fucking job, but you can't get the job because you don't have the experience. How the fuck do you know? So what you're going to do is you're going to deny Americans any sort of position, employment, or growth, and you're going to import people and then just give them the fucking jobs that you could give to Americans. Can learn this shit. To think that Americans are fucking stupid, and again, it's genderless, colorless, religionless. To think that Americans are so fucking stupid they couldn't learn a job that you're going to import somebody to fucking learn is absurd. It's absurd to me. And then it comes out that he's going to the fucking meeting, and then you look at all these business deals. How come, okay, here's one for you. And in fact, Ted Nugent just fucking touched on it. If you're finding all this waste trillions of dollars in waste. Why aren't you giving it back to us? Like, isn't that kind of what your promise was? Like, we're going to find all this waste, and we're going to make everything cheaper. We're going to make life in America better again. And it hasn't become that. And all the money that you keep finding, you send other places, you know? So I don't know what's going on. And I think that if I don't know what's going on, and I'm not saying I'm clued into everything, but I've got somewhat of a critical thinking mind. If I can't figure out what's going on, imagine how many millions of people that are younger than us that haven't been through what we've been through they don't have a fucking chance of figuring out what the fuck is going on. They do exactly what they're fucking told. You stupid little drone, this is your job. Worker bee, go work. And that's what they do. They don't have the cognitive processes or the capabilities that we have of sitting across the table from somebody we don't like or we don't agree with, and maybe being open-minded enough to actually establish a relationship. And that's where, like, my content gets, I draw arrows and bullets from every fucking color of people. White boys are coming at me for fucking trying to work with the blacks. The black boys are coming at me because I'm fucking criticizing their behavior. The Mexicans are coming at me because I don't agree with illegal immigration. Everybody's coming at me, but that's what it's going to take is a lot of us motherfuckers to come out here and take bullets from all directions and just spin around with two middle fingers. Like, fuck all of you guys. I will tell you this. It doesn't incite hope in me. Now, I am pro-white. That doesn't mean anti-black. That doesn't mean anti-anything. I am pro-white. I like my culture. I appreciate my culture. I appreciate the things that we have done throughout the time that we've been on this planet. We've constructed societies, entire nations. We have some of the most beautiful architecture that's ever been built. These are the things that make me pro my culture. Everybody else is pro their culture, and I'm pro that. I want black men to be proud of their fucking culture, but I want them to also do the same thing I want white people to do. Do things for your culture to make it something to be proud of, okay? So when we talk about hope, that sliver of hope that you were talking about, my hope gets bigger every time I talk to a black man in my emails. I don't get bigger hopes because I got some fucking white boy fucking saying, rah, 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 fuck the hard R's. That doesn't incite hope. I'm like, great, but you're still whispering this in silence instead of screaming it on the internet to inspire other people to whatever, become whatever. You're just whispering it in the quietest corners of the internet. That's all you're doing. But when I interact with black men, especially in the emails, we tend to. I'd say I'm at a 98% pull rate with black men that email me. I will turn you around. I will fucking change your perspective, not only on me and my content, but on race relations in general and what it's going to take to swing this thing around. That gives me hope, because that is the shit that I see, that all of these fucking white people that are barking on the internet about fucking hard R's and the Jews and the this and that's the other things. That's the shit they don't see because they won't have the conversation. It's going to take more people like us to have those fucking conversations to get that hope built in other people, not just ourselves. And if we build that hope across masses of society, it's going to change things for the better. I also, contrary to that, I also do believe that we are at least, if not just past, we are at least approaching the PSR, the point of safe return. We are approaching a point in this country where we may not be able to go back. And it's coming quickly. If it hasn't come already, it could be blind hope that is making me not see that we've already passed it. But I truly, based on the conversations that I have with people of all races, all genders, all colors, all ideologies, all sexual orientations, based on that, I don't think we're so far gone that we can't swing it back around. But it's going to take those conversations.
I agree with you. My fear, and again, it keeps me up at night sometimes. And the fact that I'm saying that, I'm like, dude, eventually one of these times, there's going to be one event that's going to happen, and that's it. And I don't want to see that happen. And a lot of people are like, well, Maverick, you're speaking this into existence. No, I'm just trying to educate people and say, hey, look, this isn't something I want to see, because trust me, I have enough veteran friends that have explained to me in graphic detail the nightmare which is violence. Okay. Mm-hmm. I had a neighbor once use lawful violence, if you know what that is.
Yeah.
That's something that could happen. And he's like, I don't want to see that, because I don't want to see that switch flip, because I was in the military and I know what that switch is. And I don't want to see that. And he's like, for you as a civilian, you wouldn't want to. I'm like, no, I don't. Because if I look at it this way, if I have to get down to protect mine and mine alone, absolutely 100%, you best believe. Do I want to? No. But it's one of those things to where I pray every day at dinner time that it doesn't happen, that somehow we find our way through this. And when I say we, and this is for everybody out there listening, whether you're left or right, is that we find a way through this madness, regardless of who you voted for, what side of the aisle you stand on, that we find a way to communicate. For me, the Overton window is slowly closing. The reason why is because I have tried so hard, and it's like people like to say, you can get smacked so many times in the face before you're finally like, you know what? Fuck off. See you later. I'm done. And I mean, again, Charlie was a big, it's how it was celebrated. It's not who he was. I mean, great man from my perspective, but it's how they celebrate it. That means that if that was me, you'd celebrate that shit. If that was my friend, you'd celebrate that shit. Why? Because they thought differently than you do. But any conservative on the planet, I can tell you this really quick. My friend, I don't like to use names, but I'll just say I have a friend that was on the left. He called me before Trump had the attempted assassination. He goes, Jimmy, and my people who really know me, I have them call me Jimmy. Maverick's just of course, Monarch, the character we play. But he goes, I'm not doing the left anymore. I can't. It's too crazy for me.
Yeah.
He's like, he's like, I did this. I went to a Donald Trump rally and I was welcomed with open arms. Didn't matter who I was. He's a disaffected liberal, like there are so many of them, and you spoke about this previously. Right now, there's so much infighting, and there's not a final boss right now for everybody to get behind. So now everybody's going to fight each other, which is fucking stupid. Like legit, like that stuff needs to stop. That's what I can't stand about my party, because that's what's been happening for. It's not something new. This is something that happens every fucking 4 years. It's break the fucking habit. I mean, I could go into some other things that I've found in this state of Tennessee where it's just like they don't know what to do. The old rhinos, because they don't understand and they're not in touch with social media. I gave them my number and said, "Here, give me a call. I might be able to help you." Did I hear anything from these old rhinos? Nope, because they're more than willing to play that 70s disco song. Let's go ahead and do the locomotion and all that other shit. Those kids don't give a fuck about that. But again, there's so much that keeps me up at night, and it's fear for both sides that we won't be able to come to that meeting point as much as we may want to come to the table.
Right.
Eventually, it's like as the old saying goes, you can bring a horse to the water, but you can't force that son of a bitch to drink.
Right. That's a fact. Yep. Well, and the thing that we have to remember too is, and I've noticed this more on the right because, I mean, let's be honest, not many people leave the right to go to the left. It's just like you don't see a lot of women becoming men. You see a whole lot of fucking men becoming women. The biggest thing is when somebody leaves the left, like when let's just say anybody, fucking Joe Schmo, he leaves the left. Let's say he's a gigantic fucking, influencer for leftism and liberalism. And then he gets to a point where he's just like, fuck, dude, I can't do it anymore. Like, I can't get behind this shit anymore. When he leaves that, it then becomes the responsibility of the people on the right to make room for him and welcome him in. And we're seeing less and less and less to none of that now. And, there was a point where we did see some of it happening. But now when you see somebody leave the left and get quote unquote welcomed into the right, they're only being welcomed into the right because there's some sort of angle that the right is working. It's not like, I see that you've for all intents and purposes, come to your senses and you're willing to at least have the conversation. You're not saying that you're going to dive into my team or whatever, but you're at least willing to have the conversation. And now everybody's so polarized because of the programming and propaganda that conversation doesn't get had anymore. That space doesn't get made. Now, when people leave a party, they're just politically homeless and they wander. And that's kind of where, that's where I like to come in. Like, that's my house right there, is the wanderers. I like to grab the stragglers. I like to pull the wanderers back to some sort of sense of normalcy, common sense thinking, and just looking at the world with our eyes. We don't have to have college degrees. We don't have to have histories and analytics. We can just look with our eyes at what's happening in society, point at it, and then you point at it, and then we talk about what we're pointing at. That's where I like to be. I'm not right. I'm not left, because and the more that this shit gets polarized, per the plan again, but the more this shit gets polarized, the less of each side I really am. I'm a patriot when it comes to America. I believe that I believe America should be first, not with the America First movement, because that's just the next MAGA. Like, that's just America First, and because of Nick Fuentes, and which everybody says he says hateful shit. It's most of what he says is just objective reality. This person runs this company that owns this company that owns this company that pays this person to pay that person to be your fucking guy. I understand him. I understand where he's coming from. I understand the disgust in his mouth that he tastes after looking at America and then having everybody do him like they did, because he's gotten fucked worse than anybody out there.
Oh yeah.
And people don't understand that radicalization happens from the radicalized. Radicals make people radicalized, and typically it radicalizes them the other way. Well, Nick Fuentes had fucking everybody coming at him from every angle. And for me, I have people coming at me from every angle too. And it's a different level. I get it. But I just possess that desire to not take part. I have that internal need to, I have a need to not belong. I don't like belonging. I don't like feeling like I'm property of a party. I don't feel like I don't like feeling like I have to, toe the company line, so to speak, or I'm out. I like to go fuck you to everybody and see who bites, see who says, hey, fuck you too, and fuck them, and fuck them, and fuck them. Hey, let's be friends. Those are my people. Those are the people I like, because I think those are the people that possess the brain power and the mental capacities to approach every situation with a shred of dignity, a shred of integrity, and a whole bucket full of open-mindedness. I want to hear what your story is, because it may change mine, but everybody's so married to their ideology that you can't cut through that propaganda without a chainsaw. And we know that's illegal.
Right. Here's what I can tell you. And this is the funniest thing about it. So yeah, I can say that I'm a conservative and I'm a Republican, right? But there's some things that, hey, people try to put me in a box, and I hate it. Nobody likes to be put in a fucking box. At least the people that aren't quote unquote married to their ideology, right?
Right.
So, quick story. I'll just put it to you this way. Was with a situation, girl for a while in the very beginning, should have had a kid. Well, I found myself in a clinic for about 5 hours waiting for something because we utilized the service. That would go against completely everything that I'm about, right? So then what I have is I'm in this live and I have these women screaming at me, well, you're pro-choice. Da, 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 da. I said, you know what, to be honest with you, if I had the ability to do it all over again, I wouldn't do it. Well, you're still this. I'm like, did you not hear what the fuck I just said? But it's the thing is that people are so quick to put people in checkmark boxes. Yes, at that time, I utilized something that I wasn't able to do. She lied to me about something. Me being the dumbass douchebag that I was, didn't do what I was supposed to as a man, because we're guys and we think about these things. And at the moment, hey, I've had some bourbon in me. And then a couple hours later, you're like, fuck, motherfucker.
That's how my first kid happened. I'm just gonna blow it this time. Oh, fuck.
But I mean, and people can look down on me for it. It is what it is. I made the choice. I have to live with it, and I'll live with it for the rest of my fucking life. Mm-hmm. But that's my choice, right? And then they go into this whole thought process of things, and people will try to do that, put you in a fucking box. Can I say, yeah, put me in this conservative box? Fine, cool. If you want to, whatever. But doesn't mean I'm going to fucking totally think the way you're going to think, because honestly, there's some things on the far right that I'm just like, you out of your fucking mind? Really? Yeah. Like Donald Trump, for instance, here's what I can tell you. A lot of people, when he was coming up in the election, he's like, well, do you agree with him all the time? I'm like, absolutely fucking not. He needs to have his fucking Twitter or his true social, whatever the fuck. Take it the fuck away from him. Stop Twitter doing that shit. What he did about this, the whole H1B bullshit. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? You dumb motherfucker. Yeah. No wonder why these things. Gen Z is now starting to turn away because of the fact of the things that he's saying and doing. Get back to your fucking, again, we're the next thing, America first. You know what? Be for our country. United we stand, divided we fucking fall.
Well,
that's what I feel like as a patriot. United we stand, divided we fucking fall. If we're gonna fall, we're gonna fall.
And we're going to, because that's the plan. See, here's the thing that people don't understand is I don't get married to political candidates. Like Trump's first term, I was all about Trump. Only because I was so against Hillary. Like, if this bitch gets in, we're fucking done. That's the only reason why I was all for Trump. And plus, I was intrigued. I was like, okay, so he's a businessman. We could use some business-minded spirits here leading the country and shit. Now we're seeing that that's a problem. If we're going to be honest, I mean, treating this country only like a business is also wrong. We can't operate on emotions only, and we can't operate on logical money, only. So, but that's why I was all about him. But I don't get married to political candidates. Like I just fucking don't, because none of the political candidates really, in my brain, stand for what's truly American. They stand for division. That's why they call themselves a Republican. That's why they call themselves a Democrat. That's why they call themselves a Libertarian. That's why they have titles, is because they are picking a side. America, see, given my research, if we go all the way back to the inception of America as we know it, George Washington did not want two parties. He wanted one party. He only wanted one mindset, and because we are a country of one people, we should have one mindset. But the British government forced him to run a two-party system, because the British have owned us for a long time until Israel fucking bought us in 1948. But up until then, it was always two-party because it had to be divided. Now, people are so married to their political candidates, whether it be Obama, whether it be Bush, whether it be Clinton, whether it be Trump, they can't see that they're all part of the same fucking bird. That bird, what it wants to do is replace all the first world minds with third world bodies, because that's the easiest way to maintain control. If you have a country of 350 million first-rate minds, good fucking luck trying to pull some shit over on them. But if you have a fucking country of 350 million third-rate minds, they don't ever bitch. Anything you want to fucking do, they don't give a fuck. You can walk through the streets and just hit people with fucking bats if you're the fucking guy running the shit, and nobody will say anything. In fact, they'll all probably cheer, because if you said it, if you did it, they'll probably believe that person had it coming. That's the easiest way to keep control. And that's why they're getting rid of the smart people. That's why they're getting rid of the common sense people, because common sense is like, okay, well, for me, I'll let you into a little sliver of my mind. I get called racist all the fucking time, but here's my true belief. Whites and blacks are going to be and you can throw the Mexicans in there too if you want, but we're going to be the only allies each other has, because we have the Jewish slave machine coming, that is now we now know owns America. The Jews enslave everybody by making them tax slaves. But then on the other side of things, we've got the Muslim murder machine coming. You fucking submit or you die. That's the way it works. Well, if we've got the Jews and we've got the Muslims, and both of those are very, very, very committed to their doctrine, who's going to fight them? The 7% of the globe that equates white people? I don't think we have a fucking chance. Who's going to fight? The fucking Africans by themselves that still don't understand that cities exist? I don't think that's going to be the thing either. But if you banded together the white and the black, and even, like I said, even the brown, now we got a fucking chance. And the reason I will say that the Browns, the Mexicans, would be a really good addition to the thing is because nobody believes in God like they believe in God. Doesn't happen. Black people don't believe in God. They say they're people of God, but they're killing each other every fucking day. That's not believing in God. Mexicans, however, like your standard ass Mexican, your run-of-the-mill everyday Mexican, them motherfuckers believe in some God. Like they are all about the Jesus. You go to their house and they've got their altars and their shrines and they got their fucking, pictures everywhere. They come with a religious righteousness that will really help us in this battle that is on its way. If we're not facing it already. But that's really where I'm at. That's why I do what I do. Is I have to I have to burn the old bridges to build back new bridges, because the bridges between the races have all been built on foundations of hate and resentment and lies. We have to burn those bridges and build back new bridges on 100% transparency. That's why I can have a conversation with a black man and tell him exactly what is wrong with his community, what we see from our angle, our perspective, and what is just objectively true that we need to fix before we can get along fully. Until we get a lot of this shit figured out. And white people got their own fucking problems. I mean, like, I am fucking internet famous for saying, go for a walk, trip on a rock, and see if you don't land on a white guy trying to fuck a little kid. It's the way it works. I mean, it's just where white guys trying to fuck little kids are fucking everywhere. So we all have our own problems, but we have to get those problems put onto the table, and we can't put those problems on the table nicely. We can't put those problems on the table in an aggressive manner. We have to just be clear and direct. The problem with the black community is X. The problem with the white community is X. The problem with the Mexican community is X. We have to talk about this, work this shit out. Okay, you're going to make some adjustments. You're going to make some adjustments. I'm going to make some adjustments. Now let's team up. But the problem is, again, we've got all these young people that they don't understand how programmed they truly are, that as soon as that unity starts happening, they start going hard the other fucking way. As soon as because then the government's going to come out and say, oh, here, perfect example. What did what did Big Mike say recently in her interview about how black people can't swim and it's the fault of white people because black people have to straighten their hair to measure up to white beauty standards, and that's why they can't swim. Like, if you could stretch harder to find something to blame on white people, you couldn't find anything worse than that, like dumber than that.
I did 30 seconds of that segment or whatever it is. All I just kept on thinking of was the meme with the fucking new Predator in her face.
She's an ugly motherfucker. God damn, she's not. I don't even want to call her a she. Dude, I had to hire a trainer for $10,000 to get me shoulder muscles like that bitch has got.
That's all I could think of, dude. Seriously. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, again, I watched an hour and a half of Dearborn, Michigan. Why I do these things? I do it because I like to see exactly what the temperature is. I like to see exactly what's fucking happening out there in the real world, because nobody else is covering it. Nick Shirley, Cam Higbee, these guys out there covering what they're covering. It's phenomenal. Like, these guys are in it. They're watching these things happen in Portland. They're watching Dearborn, Michigan. They're going to these No Kings fucking yank off fucking circles where everybody's like, oh, no Kings. Dumbass. If you remember, what is it, 1776 we want to go with, or 1775, whichever way you want to look at it, when we went ahead and got rid of the British king,
Right.
That's no kings, you dumb fucks. We elect somebody every 4 to 8 years.
Right.
Fucking think about it. I have an 18-year-old son. And the way that, again, conversation for another time. But let's just say he's opposite of dad by far. And I love him no matter what.
Right.
I do. He's my son. I love him to death. He actually got me into TikTok and all this social media stuff. Because if it wasn't for him, I'd be just some dude working his 9 to 5, playing video games afterwards, and loving my significant other at that point. But again, there's so much weeds out there, and it's so hard to see through, as they would say, the forest through the trees. Right. That's the problem. Is there's so much, as you say, propaganda, absolutely, on both sides. I see it every day, but that's why I look for the real out there. And I'll do, like, everybody's like, you watch Fox News. I'm like, actually, no, I don't. If anything, I point and laugh at them, because I'm like, you guys are saying the same thing in one form that the other news networks are saying, as much as you say you're conservative.
Right. Well, and you're all owned by the same company.
Here with that. Exactly. That's the thing. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? That's why I'll go to alternative media.
What is it? 7 agencies owned all of the news stations? Yeah, you're really getting objective reality there.
It's fucking fair and balanced. Yeah, here's your fucking fair and balanced.
Yeah, people tell me all the time, you got to turn off Fox News. Motherfucker, let me tell you what, I ain't turned on a TV intentionally in years in my fucking house. I hate TV. And if I was going to turn on a fucking TV, I'd be watching Bob Ross or Big Bang Theory. I for sure would not be watching fucking news. Fuck you, your newstainment shit.
Nope, I get it 100%. And that's it. And there's just so much out there. I'm glad I live in here. And one thing I wanted to kind of tell you about race, because we were talking about the brown people. Here's what I can tell you. Moving from Illinois down here, do you know how often, like, I run into a black person, a Mexican person, and they don't give a fuck about all that blue shit?
Yeah.
Like, I see a black dude down here, and he's getting out of his fucking goddamn beat up pickup truck, because guess what? His ass just came out of a fucking blind because it's deer season.
Right.
They don't fucking. That's the thing is there's we can talk about echo chambers sometime, but you have echo chambers in cities. Once you go outside of that echo chamber, it's a fucking world of a difference. When I got down here, I was like, for the first fucking 6 months, I shit you fucking not, I didn't talk about politics at all.
Right.
At all. Nobody cares. Because it's not a thing. Like I'll say, it's not really a thing down here. I mean, I think you said you were from Tennessee. You were in Tennessee for a little while.
Oh no, I spent a lot of time there. I spent a lot of time in Tiptonville and Martin.
Okay.
So Tiptonville's out by Reelfoot Lake, and that's pretty back sticks. Like, there's one fucking intersection in the town. Martin is a college town, so I had a mix of both.
But I can tell you, outside of, like, say, Knoxville or
I've been to Knoxville too. I've been to fucking Pigeon Forge and Knoxville and Sevierville, and
Yep, I love
Tennessee. I fucking love Tennessee.
we go out to, like, Sevierville, and we go out to Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg all the time. And I can tell you, it's like, again, I can go out dressed like this, all this stuff, and I don't get somebody coming at me all crazy. I guarantee your ass. I go down where my buddy lives down in it's outside Edison Park. That's where he lives at. If I go down to fucking Edison Park dressed like this shit, I bet your ass if somebody saw me wearing it that was on that side, there would be a fight. I guarantee you that shit. But see, that's the difference is it's so regional. And I mean, again, that's a whole other conversation that I noticed the difference in culture, because we can talk about a culture war. There's different, like, the culture's different.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me love it even more down here, because, like, this, yeah, fine, I do my battleground stuff on TikTok, and I'm trying to get as much as I can on Instagram, and I'm trying to grow on Facebook. But that battleground is, here's the thing, I ghost and post. Once I put that video out there, I'm gone. I'm sitting in this lazy boy right here, turning on my Xbox 360, playing whatever game I want to play right now that's not a trash-ass fucking Call of Duty game.
I play WoW. I can't talk a lot of shit.
I played Guild Wars 2 for a long time. So, I mean, I also played Diablo 4 and a couple other games too. So trust me, I'm as much as you see this character right here.
Yeah.
I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer nerd. I love playing games. It's just what I do. I'm 47 years old, and I'm, as my significant other would say, I'm a fucking man child. That's what I am.
Well, and for you know what it is for me, it's like I play WoW. I don't really play much other. I'll play Forza Horizon. I like Forza Horizon, but and especially I played a lot of Forza when I got taken out on the motorcycle because I had 3.5 months on a couch. But I played WoW, and I started playing WoW in 05, and I got introduced to it. It was my first MMORPG, first online game, this and that. And it was just really fucking cool because I'm all about the story. There's always endless amounts of story, endless amounts of things to do. But the nice thing that I use it for now is I don't, like, at one point I was a raider and I was in a guild and did all this other shit. Now it's just like, it's something that because me and my wife are so incredibly fucking busy. I mean, she runs a $1 billion corporation. I run my fucking, my day job, and I'm running all this media shit it's now come to a point where one of them is going to have to leave, and it ain't going to be the media. You know what I mean? But, we're so incredibly busy that games allow us to, like WoW allows us to just spend some time together doing something when we have 20 minutes between meetings, between phone calls, between appointments. It's a good thing, so, and it allows you to release. So, however you find your release, I mean, get to it. But I do hear a lot of people talking shit about gamers. And, I talk shit about gamers too. But if you're an adult not pulling your weight, not supporting your family, and you're just playing Xbox all day, we got fucking problems. But if your fucking family is fed, they love you, you have a good relationship, you spend time with them, and you have some off time at night after the kids go to bed or something, and you want to play fucking games, have at it. Have at it, Mm-hmm. So, but because it's a good release. And I think if more people had a hobby, the world would look very different. Everybody's hobby seems to have become the hate. It's like, now I hate the Democrats as a hobby. Now I hate the Republicans. It's my hobby. Now I hate Nazis. What's a Nazi? Everybody that doesn't agree with me, and that's my hobby. It's so we're clicked up. It really is. It's gang life, and it's back to the Venn diagrams where it's, this gang interacts with that gang, interacts with this gang, interacts with that gang, interacts with this gang. But at the end of the day, everybody's got a fucking gang, and it goes right down to profession. I mean, if the world fell apart, you think the cops are going to turn on each other? You think the firefighters are going to turn on each other? You think mechanics are going to turn on each other? Plumbers are going to turn on each other? No, it's going to be your calling card. Like, oh, we're the plumbers. We were all plumbers before the world went to shit, and now we're in a gang. Now we're us. And that'll be for everything. We have to get out of this fucking, and I understand that we have a primal core need to belong to a group, but we have to distance ourselves a little bit from that deep desire, that deep need, that deeply seated need in our heart and soul to have to belong. Because if everybody's honest with themselves, you're associated with a group that you don't fully agree with, but you act like you fully agree with them because you know that they'll turn on you and then you'll have no one. And people don't want to be without no one. That's why we see so many people in terrible relationships. I have fucking friends that have been in absolutely awful fucking relationships, awful marriages for decades. And they won't drop it because it's better than nothing. It's better than being alone. Being miserable is better than being unhappy, so to speak. It's so fucked up.
Oh yeah. And I mean, here's another reality for you. And this is the type of guy I am. At one point I just get so frustrated, I just go, I'm done. I'll turn social media off. I'll log out of everything. I don't care. I'm at a point to where it's like, here's again, I like to look at things with a funny sense of humor. At one point, I'm like, can we just let the fucking zombies come already?
Right. Yeah.
Can that happen? Or, can like the 3-Eye Atlas, like either be one or two, a fucking goddamn thing that's just going to hit us in dinosaurs, like the dinosaurs, or hey, it's an alien that's going to do one of two things. It's either going to fucking take us over, or it's going to say, live long and prosper.
Right.
It's going to be something. I like, trust me. There have been times where I'm like, I want to sign out of all social media and just be like, no, It's because I remember time like, luckily I do have hobbies. I have archery as a hobby. I get down at the range, and what's nice is I did that just like over the weekend, Saturday. What's nice about here is, you go back in them hills and those mountains, no signal. I don't have to worry about shit.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about fucking social media. Who's talking shit and who did I trigger? And I don't give a fuck. It's just one of those things, man. It's where I get it for sure.
Yeah. All right, dude. Let's wrap this thing up. I think we've had a really good conversation. I definitely want to have you back because you were a really good conversation. So we'll revisit in the future and we'll get into more shit. Guys, if you want to help me out, get this word out, get these truths out. You can follow me at Savagely Loud on Instagram. That is where I'm most active. On that page, you're going to find 2 links. One of those links is to the Savagely Loud podcast page. If you could please follow me there too. The other link you're going to find is a simple link tree. Anywhere you want to find my rants or listen to my videos or whatever that, you can find it there. Outside of that, Facebook, X, Rumble, and Substack at Savagely Loud. YouTube at Savagely Loud Podcast. And you can email me in at savagelyloud@gmail.com, which I strongly suggest you do if you want to be seen. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and share the material. Rate the show, review the show. It really fucking helps. I'm asking you guys, pretty please. It doesn't take any more effort than a single click, especially if you're on Spotify. Just rate the show. Give me a 5-star. Call it a day. Where can they find you again, brother?
You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Maverick Effect. That's where you'll find me at. Usually posting more on TikTok, then blending everything over, just pissing off liberals because I like to trigger them, and then I just laugh at them when I make the videos back to them.
All right, go follow Maverick Effect everywhere he is. Definitely follow him on Instagram. He's got some really fun videos, really good informational stuff out there. I don't know why you can't seem to get much traction on Instagram, but we'll see if we can change that up for you a little bit because it's only going to help you, which it'll help everybody get these fucking truths out here. Guys, you know the drill. At the end of every show, we have to change the mindset. We have to change the mood. We spend so much time getting all antsy, getting down in the deep, sticky wickets of things. We don't want to walk away from that. And we're gonna pick up our brain with a little segment I like to call Hopelessly Human. And it starts a little bit like...
People can be really rough. They can be quite tough. They can get in the way, but at the end of the day, some aren't only stupid, some are hopelessly human.
Yes, they are. Some are just hopelessly human. Today's Hopelessly Human comes to you from a website called pureflix.com. It's entitled Girl Battling Cancer Uses Wish to Help Special Needs Rescue Dogs. When 9-year-old Charlotte Lance, who was fighting a brain tumor, was given a chance to have a wish come true, she wasn't thinking about going to Disneyland or swimming with dolphins in Hawaii. Instead, she wanted money to buy supplies to help abandoned and neglected dogs. Caroline wished for as little as $150 for supplies, but instead was gifted $3,000 by the local Tractor Supply to purchase beds, blankets, dog food, and treats. All of the items were donated to Heaven Can Wait Animal Rescue and Sanctuary in Franklin, Tennessee. She didn't understand why a dog would be labeled as unadoptable, but she said all the dogs still have hearts. So why can't somebody love on them just because they're different? So she's a really sweet, very special girl, said Carolyn's mom, Margaret. That's Hopelessly Human. That's the show. Later, guys.